and let's go ahead and get in the game. Alrighty guys, in the top left hand corner, spawning as the brown Zerg, we have somebody I've never actually heard of or seen before, Gamjo, so I'm a little interested in see how the Zerg plays.
And over in the bottom right hand corner we have the purple fart sniffing Protoss, InTact. A weasel if there ever was one.
Quite. I actually love InTact, man. He's so much fun to talk shit to because he just loves talking shit back and forth. But he's actually quite a good-natured person, just a really trolly dude.
Extremely.
So
but he can take it as much as he can give it, and that's always what you need.
So my guess here would be this is a what, tier 2 game now?
It should be tier 2.
All right, dope.
Ooh, gamjo stopped all of his drones there for a second. Whoops.
That's frustrating. Bear semen. What a meme. Good job, bro. Self-deprecation, 10 out of 10. Love it. Love it. Alrighty, so looks like we're going to have a 9-pull speed coming out of Gamjo versus a Forge Fast expand. It's going to be pretty important to see whether or not InTact goes for the Nexus, or if he does throw down that early cannon. I think that he's going to have a soon enough scout that he's probably going to throw down a cannon before he puts his Nexus down, so hopefully he's going to be in good shape. Now, I think especially at these levels, it can be very difficult for players who aren't quite like that T1, like more experienced, I would say like veteran but not Gosu type of player. These type of builds can be very difficult for these level of players to handle. It often requires a lot of skill to be able to defend a aggressive build. 9-pull speed isn't the cheesiest, most ridiculously fast build ever, but it can be still very difficult to defend against, especially if we see something like Little Chava did, where he goes for a nice chunky run by once you start feeling safe. So there's a lot of options here for Gamjo following this opener. Future, welcome back to the stream.
It's on a much bigger map though, and he already has that second cannon. It's going to be done by the time these lings get here.
Oh yeah, these lings aren't even really going for
they're not even going. He thinks better of it.
Yeah, you can still do a whole lot of work with these lings. They can deny very important scouting that you're gonna need as a Protoss player to figure out what you're going to do next once you put your Nexus down. And if Gamjo kills off all of the scouting probes that are coming across the map, you can go for something again like we saw Chava do, where you go for that 3-hatch Hydra, and your Protoss opponent's blind, and they can get totally blindsided and destroyed by it. Or you can even do something like a 6 Hydralisk 3-hatch Hydra, blow up the front buildings, freak your Protoss opponent out, make him make like 8 cannons, and just go into like 5 hatches, 6 hatches, and be fine.
He does kill that scouting probe very early with all these lings, prompting InTact to send out a second one here.
Yep. It's very, very important as a Protoss player that you stay active with your scouting during this part of the game. If you get your probe denied and you're playing blind, you're at a significant disadvantage. You could guess correctly on a gamble and keep yourself in the game, but generally speaking, having to make that guess or doing half measures like only putting 3 cannons can very often lead to a lot of lost games that you wouldn't have lost. Gamjo very intelligently blocking his ramp with some lings, but does forget to hold position them. Okay though, because the lings able to catch that probe and deny the scouting into the main base once again. Gamjo looking like he's going to be playing that far base style. This is very often indicative of a macro style of Zerg play because it's very strong to wall off and create a really powerful SimCity bit and just build drones upon drones upon drones. So we'll have to go ahead and see what the game plan is going forward here. The gas collection though does make me think it's going to be, well, I was going to say Spire, but Interdax
does indeed throw down that den. And yeah, also taking the natural also gives you the free main once you secure it.
Oh yeah, very, very powerful way of playing Zerg. This is maybe, I would say, for a Protoss player, and don't get me wrong, I don't play Protoss, so I can't really speak for them at all, but I would assume that this is me. Going for that just very defensive macro style can be just entirely super frustrating. Like, it would drive me crazy, I know for sure. Alrighty, looks like we're going for range. So this could be that 6 Hydralisk timing, where you just get 6 guys, poke out the wall, shoot it down with the range, and then continue to macro up. That's kind of what I would like to see. We do have drones being produced at 2 of the 3 egg locations currently. So maybe that's what's going on here. Although InTact might actually be fooled into thinking that he's going to be safe.
Scout this extra base though, so at least he knows where it's
Hydra,
at, and does see a Hydra maybe. I don't know if he saw it spawn.
Dude, it would be really important to get that. But I mean, like if he didn't see the Hydralisks, he may be fooled right now into thinking that he's totally safe and that his opponent is just going to drone.
He is hiding that Hydra down below the minerals there. He doesn't see it for now, anyways. Might have saw it earlier though.
Dude, Mindwaves, Fausty, what's up? How you guys doing? It's good to see you again, Mindwaves. Been a long time since the days of yore when we both played StarCraft late into the night, man. Oh my gosh, this is just like the slowest death. Very sad. Alrighty, yeah, I don't know what the plan was with the Hydra den. This is a little weird. At this point in the game, it was like you already needed to have the Hydras on the map doing damage. And I could have actually... probably should have figured that was the case because the Hydra den seemed very late. But this is really weird because at this point you really, instead of producing Hydralisks, you want to have hatcheries if you're going to wait this long to try to do a bust. There's 4 Zealots right now. Zealot legs is going to be, I don't know, maybe finished, maybe not by the time your Hydralisks come across the map. But if they are, you're in for a bad time, man, because speedlots are actually very acceptable units to defend against Hydralisks until you've got... until they get into ridiculous numbers.
He does have quite a few of them, though. He's got his full control group now, and paired with some Zerglings, this could not end well for Protoss.
He could bust this. You are right. I mean, and the numbers continue to stack up. There aren't any additional cannons here. InTact is going to be very surprised by this. Oh no, and Zealot legs are not done yet. And this nice little ball of Hydralisks is gonna just take a bunch of free kills! Oh man. InTact in a very, very tough spot right now, but Zealots are coming out to play again and getting some nice work done. They have not stalled for long enough though.
Oh, this could be trouble. Oh, he's gonna go for the pylon.
The Hydralisks do have speed. This is a mistake, I think. Cannons die so quickly when they're just forming.
And he's just gonna take the pylon. They're all gonna be unpowered.
Yeah, wow, yeah. He gets it before the cannons form, so wow. Gamjo, going for the throat here.
He did start another one though. Pulling the boys, this could be trouble.
Oh yeah, and remember these Hydras have both speed and range. But on the back end, it looks like Gamjo's having a little bit of a tough time with these Corsairs sniping everything out. I mean, he has quite a massive bank. Unfortunately, if he had maybe a bit better micro and a bit better macro, where he could...
he's had 2 Hydras just sitting in the natural, not doing anything.
Yeah, I really wish that those were being committed to defending the Overlords. If Gamjo had just focused more on keeping his Overlords alive and stuff like that, he could be in a much more commanding position.
And these 2 other cannons are going to end up finishing.
Yeah, I mean that.
Oh, maybe not. He finally moves them up.
This is, even if they do, I mean, like, even if he doesn't win here, Gamjo is in a great spot.
Oh yeah, he's killed almost all of the probes. I think this is going to do it for InTact.
Yeah, I think InTact's probably dead here, but even still, man. Wow, the build went so well. This is like something that you should really focus on. If you're doing a 3-hatch Hydra build, make sure that you're defending your Overlords from these Corsairs. Make sure that you're, hitting your macro cycles well. These Corsairs have been so active, and InTact has just done such a fantastic job at potentially giving himself a way back into this game.
He doesn't have any more Overlords on the way either.
Yeah.
But too many Hydras, I think.
Honestly, if I were InTact right now, instead of making a High Templar, he should have just made a DT. He would have done just fine. He's killed so many Overlords, he could have probably stopped the attack and walked right over to the Zerg base and started doing drone damage. But, InTact having to give it up a little bit. Oh man, if the DT had come in, I think he would have been fine. But Gamjo, by the skin of his teeth, closing that first game out. Very nicely done. Let's go ahead and move on to game number 2.
Like I said, those earlier aggressive builds, they are tough to defend at lower levels.
There's just so much you have to do, and you have to do so much correctly. It's one of those kind of very finesse type of things that you have to learn over a longer period of time. You do really just need a lot of additional experience against those builds, and as a newer player, you can do the best you can with your instincts, but some of these builds are so tight and so powerful, you really have to have like a surgical response to them. But alright guys, we're going back to everybody's favorite map. Definitely not the most boring and vanilla map ever. Not a map that nobody's sick of, especially not Urbon. We're going right back to Fighting Spirit. The zesty Fighting Spirit. Alright, BossRoss, before we go into it, predictions?
I don't know.
Wow.
I'm not very good with predictions. I know InTact's a very good Protoss player. His forte is really against Terran, though.
Yeah, it's InTact. Yeah, I was gonna say he doesn't really, or at least in my experience with him, and I played him not extensively, but enough to kind of play against him, enough to get like a sense of his style. He really only plays one build versus me, and it's gonna be 4-gate Speed Zealot. It was interesting that I saw him go for the Corsairs because it wasn't something that I'm used to him playing. But so he may be mixing it up a little bit, and so maybe that's why he's kind of having a little bit more of an issue than with that last build than he would have normally had. This 4-gate speed lot just crushes through that. Alrighty, my dude. Let's go ahead and get on into it. Coming off a pretty skin of his teeth win, but a win nonetheless. Top left-hand corner, we have the yellow Zerg Gamjo.
And the bottom right, we have the white Protoss InTact, sharing these cross spawns again with the same exact spots, top left and bottom right.
Yeah, very interesting. Let's see if Gamjo decides to go for another 9-pool speed. A lot of players will start, especially Zerg players, because there's limited options and they're very stylistic choices, right? A lot of Zergs will play one single opener especially for PvZ. I'm curious to see if he's just a 9-pool speeder or if he's got something else lined up here, but we should be able to tell here very soon if he's going to go for a hatch first. There you go.
I think best of series usually lend themselves to do different builds, but if what you did the first game worked, maybe just do it again.
Yeah. Chill friend, thank you so much for the follow, man. Really appreciate it, by the way. Welcome to the family. Yeah, it looks like we're going to be going for an overpool. So this is like the safest, most basic build. This is the build that I would recommend to any beginner Zerg player out there who's trying to learn how to play against Protoss players. Get your Overlord on 9. Right when it's about to pop, you'll have about 200 minerals, and you stick your pool down. And yeah, then you're good to go. So you can do a couple of things from there. You can go for a hatchery or Zerglings first, and that's a pretty big stylistic choice. It makes a big difference in your mid game. And Bear Seaman, CPL is short for the Coach Pupil League. This is a community league put on by Python and Laser Snipe. Oh my gosh, more stuff going on here. Elias Nito, thank you so much for the follow, man. But yeah, so Python and Laser Snipe put this on. You are, if you're a beginner or a veteran Brood War player, you can come on, get yourself on a team, pretty dope. You get yourself a coach and a bunch of teammates, and everyone comes together to get better at StarCraft. So, InTact being really annoying, as he likes to do with his probe, blocking the natural expansion. Gamjo opting to expand over here at the top right-hand corner. Or top right-hand. sorry, the dead center top.
The 12 o'clock?
Stop it, dude. I'm so tired. It's the dead center top. What do you mean 12 o'clock? What even is a clock? Are you making words up now? Come on, bro. But yeah. So anyways, God, InTact's probe's so annoying, right?
He's gonna get pushed out of here momentarily, though, with all these lings heading on down.
Yeah, but he's done a seriously good job at delaying Gamjo's expansions. It's really, really frustrating.
Oh yeah, definitely did a good job here.
Yeah. Gamjo, in the meantime, too, is getting a bit distracted here. Typically, by now, you want to have stuff on gas. Well, I guess you want to put down your gas, so maybe this isn't so bad, because he does have the gas down early. So we do have guys in the gas now. I'm curious if he's going to go for a more standard 3-hatch Spire, or if he's going to be going for a Hydralist play again. We don't have speed, so there's no guarantee that he's going to be able to force this probe out of the base in time, and InTact is doing a good job keeping his probe alive. What would be your guess, my friend? You think he's going to be going for Spire here soon?
I would hope to see something different than a 3-hatch Hydra Bus. We've seen that a couple of times already today, but this probe gets a few more hits on it. It's very close to being dead.
But right now the layer is so delayed, it really does look like he's trying to put down a Hydra Den, and he's just not... He's waiting until he kills the probe, but nothing happens. In the meantime...
no, he sneakily banks the layer over at the 3rd.
This is interesting. This is a very delayed layer. Typically, you want the layer extremely early.
It's definitely going to be playing some mind games with InTact here, who still has his scouting probe alive.
Oh, and he throws down a Hydra Den
right in front of him, yeah.
Very cute. I like it. Although Gamjo's build order is a little sloppy right now. We have some drones hanging out, not doing anything. We got a bunch of larvae being kind of just chilling around. I mean, InTact is still very much on top of his build. We've got, more gateways coming down here. I'm very worried that InTact is just going to run Gamjo over in a minute here. Oh man, this probe has been alive for like what seems like forever. Finally goes down now in the main base here. Full commits to the Hydra Den. Looks like we're gonna stay on. Oh my gosh, this is the latest Spire.
And InTact does go for that Citadel instead of the Stargate, so it looks like he is looking for his Zealot leg push.
Yeah, this is gonna be scary, man. There's gonna be way too many units on the field here. You need to have this Spire done by like 6 minutes? I couldn't give you a really great time. But my point is that a Corsair can come as early as 5:30 to like 5:50. And with the Spire just now starting, it's super, super late, right? This Zealot Legs push is going to come before like any mutas are going to be out here on the field to be able to kind of... Well, maybe not. I mean... Jeez, Zealot Legs...
But that, and would he make mutas, though? I don't think that's something Zerg would typically do against Protoss in the early game.
Well, okay, so... Alright, this is going to bring us way back to fundamentals, but something that you really have to do 100% of the time. If you're a new Zerg player, please, if you want to do one thing right, do this. Take your damn first 2 Overlords and make sure you get an Overlord into the Protoss main base. You have to see this coming. 100%. You have to know what the Protoss is doing in the mid game. If you don't see this coming, you're just dead. If you go 3-hatch Spire, but you get an Overlord in here, the response is you make Mutalisks. And if you see a Stargate, the response is you make Scourge. Either way, you're covered. That's why 3-hatch Spire is the most powerful and best standard build there is for ZVP.
Even without the Overlord, you can always make a pair of Scourge and go in and scout with those.
Yeah, exactly.
But with that Spire down being late, for sure, is a big problem. But he does make mutas blind.
This is super weird. I mean, Gamjo, I think, is just kind of getting lucky here with the muta timing. But yeah, this is super weird. InTact, though, already has 2 cannons down and both mineral lines, going to be fairly safe against any kind of harass. I would really like to see a cannon or 2 near the production, though, because, again, he doesn't have anything here to really deal with this. I think maybe we'll park, like, an Archon over here or something? I don't really know. I don't know what the response is going to be, but, God, this has been such a weird game. Alrighty,
Here come those zealots at the 12 o'clock, but we do already have mutas, and he's moving them away.
Yeah.
Now brings him back, but he might be able to snipe this lair.
I would have actually hoped that he went after the lair. Getting this random ancillary damage done here is like doing nothing, right? So this is almost not a big deal at all for Gamjo. He's gonna get a lot of these zealots on the way home if he micros, which he's not. But that's okay too. Looks like he's going straight for the mineral lines instead. So that's a thing too. But like this wasn't really that much damage. You got like a couple of drones and a couple of sunks, and he skipped
nice.
Scargate for that.
It is nice he has these bases covered with cannons, so these mutas aren't going to be able to get much done.
Well, I mean, you say that. It depends on the micro for one. This is not. Yeah, okay, you're right. This is not going to do that much. See, what you want to do here with these, once you've scouted that you can't get any probe damage done, is you hover back and forth over these gateways, and you kill any High Templar that comes out with just two volleys. You can even still do it. You've got 5 mutos left. You just 2-shot High Templars over and over and over and over and over again. And you keep the High Templar out of it, and you produce Hydralisks. Because Hydralisks do really great versus everything that isn't a High Templar in the mid-game here. But, I don't know. That was a lot of nothing for those Mutalisks. He didn't even get the retreating zealots. So I just don't know how I feel about this game right now, man. How do you feel about it? I feel like Gamjo's on the back foot for sure economically.
Definitely. He's got some good SimCity going on at his 3rd, which is where InTact is heading. But that's a lot of zealots and a lot of Archons.
Yeah, and this SimCity isn't even that fantastic.
Yeah, no, I didn't realize that wasn't a hard lock between the Evo and the hatchery there.
Evo doesn't hard lock, or doesn't hard wall, like, pretty much anywhere against zealots. So the one building that really does it well is the Hydralisk Den. So this base is just super important.
Yeah, this is a good game for sure, and there he goes, the GG.
Well, I'm glad to see our boy InTact bringing it back.
Yeah, a couple of decisive games there. Those were very nice.
Oof. Okay, guys. Well, just a reminder, we are casting the Coach Pupil League Preseason Tournament. It's a tournament for all of our Coach Pupil League participants to show their stuff off before the draft. I hope you guys are enjoying it. We've had games casted by a bunch of other casters, so please check out the Coach Pupil League's thread and Discord and get yourself involved with the community here. Really appreciate that. My name's Doc Holiday TV. I am working here with my man BossRoss. I'm going to go ahead and throw up our caster screen real quickly so you can take a look at his actual... Oh, there he is, right in the chat there. That's Wahoo2. That's our boy BossRoss there, so follow him on Twitch if you haven't already. He's going to be doing some of his own content as well. But thank you guys all so much for the support and the subs, the donations that we had so far. Thank you guys all so much for tuning in. We're going to be going into the last game for the night, so let's go ahead and get on into that. You ready for that, BossRoss?
I am ready. Let's do it up once I get in the game.
Alright, big homeboy. And if I remember correctly, you are on the Chicago train, is that correct?
Absolutely freaking not.
What?
My
You're
goodness.
a Detroit
Come on
boy?
now. That's right.
Oh, it was Gorgonoth who was on the Chicago train, wasn't it?
Gorgonoth was on the New York train, which
What
got
the fuck?
derailed hard.
God damn it. Who's on the Chicago train with me?
That would be Scuzzy.
Oh, Scuzzy, my boy! Oh, I love Scuzzy. I'm so glad that he's on the Chicago train with me. He's my little burrito boy. Scuzzy StarCraft, if you're still in the chat, I love you, man. And I agree, man. Chicago pizza all the way.
Detroit deep dish is so much better.
Yeah, I mean, maybe in opposite land. Alrighty, dudes, let's go on and get into it now. and quite a surprising map choice. Honestly, it's gonna be we're gonna be going to Badlands, guys.
Oh,
I mean, not Badlands, Autobahn. What am I saying?
That's
Badlands
exciting.
is the fucking... Yeah, I know, right? That's what I was saying.
Now, one of the
Autobahn.
ASL 6 maps up here. I do like these new maps. Not many people have opted to play on them yet.
Well, I mean, it's a CPL. I can understand why. It can be very difficult to learn a new map, and especially one such as this, where it's you don't have a high ground, low ground. You've got kind of like a Talcrossy type of choke at the main bases.
Yeah, very similar to Towcross. It's also not a ladder map, which makes people even more wary of it.
And then just lots of interesting map features. So I'm gonna actually bring the map up here real quick on the screen, so you guys can take a look before we get into the series. There are a lot of interesting things here. Like we got some mineral patches here blocking some expansions / really long attack paths. These high ground pods have like a bunch of interesting ramps here, smaller and then larger ramps that go into different areas. So the geography on this map is really weird. It's gonna be very interesting to see how this works out. So, all right, you ready,
next to those mineral patches at the 3 and 9 are stacked power plants, so that you can't get through.
Oh my gosh!
Lurkers can power through them pretty quickly, or anything with splash.
Yeah. Lurkers are the best at killing stuff.
They are pretty good.
Alright, dude. Let's go ahead and get on into this game for the exciting conclusion. Here we go. In the top left-hand corner, spawning as the Teal Zerg. Going into game number 3 of this series, we have Gamjo.
And in the bottom right, everybody's favorite weasel is going to be InTact. Oh,
You got a big one, man. InTact. I love
Taking the
this
little
guy,
banter
dude.
there. Oh boy.
That's too good.
Shout out to the OS boys. What does OS stand for? I can't remember.
Hey, you know, I'm sure knowing InTact is probably something we shouldn't say on stream anyways. Maybe we don't. No, I have no idea. I have no idea.
I know
what
he
it stands for.
is part of that little not safe for work channel on the CPL. I know a lot of people in there have been going by OS recently. I'm not sure what it stands for though.
Yeah, and after all, everyone knows Doc Holliday's stream is a family-friendly stream. No cursing, no crude jokes involved here. Sorry, guys. Absolutely.
Except about circles.
The Zerg holes. Oh man. Alright, well, getting on into this game, we can clearly tell that, Chicago pizza is the superior form. Chicago style deep dish, of course, is what we're talking about. Unfortunately, if you can look at the state of the game so far, you can definitely tell that Detroit is quite inferior, and New York is obviously, like, literally only meant for filling up dumpsters. So.
Well, New York is so far behind, they're not even on the map. But
yeah.
I'm struggling to even think of a name of a Chicago pizza joint. I mean, there's just nothing popular over there.
Well, you know, it does make sense that someone with a propensity for Detroit pizza would have cognitive issues. So I am sorry that that's an issue you have in your life. I feel like maybe we shouldn't have this conversation. I don't want to strain you too bad.
I mean, there's just too many Detroit names blocking out any Chicago names that could even be a thing.
Oh,
I mean, you got everybody from Little Caesars to Jets to Papa Romano's to Buddy's Pizza.
The fact that you even mentioned Little Caesars on the list is demonstrative of how inferior Detroit-style pizza is.
I mean, multinational global pizza chain.
Because it costs
think
like
they're
$3.
doing pretty
Bro,
well.
it's like saying,
they're
oh
doing
man,
pretty well.
dude. Okay, all right. So this is real life example here right now. Freaking Taco Bell just got voted as the #1 Mexican restaurant in the United States. I feel like that's kind of like the same argument you're using. It's the best pizza because Taco Bell. Because Little Caesars.
Did it seriously?
Yeah,
Oh
it really
God.
did.
Oh my God.
It really did. Isn't that upsetting,
Well, I'm
dude?
not sure if you've ever had Little Caesar's deep dish, but it's actually quite good. It's a lot
not gonna
different
lie.
than their little $5 cardboard pizzas.
I'm not gonna lie. Yo, it's like my drunk food. Like I'll just go get a Little Caesar's deep dish pizza and just like wash away the beer with the carbs. It'll absorb everything. I'll digest it slower. It's worth it, man.
It is pretty good. Not to mention they are pizza innovators, home of the 3-foot-long pizza, the pretzel pizza, and a bacon-wrapped crust. Woo! Delicious.
Yeah.
Delicious.
Little Caesars, just letting you know right now, we are currently looking for sponsors for the CPL. So, but unfortunately, you're out of the running because you're a Detroit style pizza. It's Chicago.
I mean,
style pizza.
I don't know. That Papa Romano's money might be kicking in a little bit to the CPL here, so you might want to watch it there, bud.
Oh man. Dude, honestly though, I could totally get behind a fucking Little Caesars sponsorship, even if it's just like food for the casters. They're like, we're not gonna give you any money, but the casters need a pizza.
One hot and ready a month.
Yeah, dude, it'd be so worth it. Oh my god, I'd cast for pizza. Are you kidding me? I cast for nothing right now, so it's like, shit, I'd cast for pizza. Hell yeah. Alrighty, well, let's go ahead and take a look at the game state right now. Looks like we got a second sneaky gate here in the middle of the main. Now, this is actually a really devious type of build here. It allows you to produce a much larger zealot number than a Zerg is typically used to having to defend against in the early game. So we're most likely going to see constant zealot production out of these two, and I would like to see InTact probably bank his zealots kind of far away from the wall, so that way the vision is protected, or the vision of them is protected by the cannons. And then what's going to happen is that instead of getting that like 4 zealot move out that everyone's used to, you get a whole bunch more, and all of a sudden the Zerg goes in panic mode if he hasn't set up significant defenses. This is a super.
And he does go with that early citadel again.
God, this build is so weird, dude. Gamjo with a sunken colony just randomly morphing out here in the front of the map. I'm not really sure what that's about, dude.
And in the main, that is interesting.
No, that's a spire.
Not the main, Spire.
Yeah.
I must have missed trying to click on it and saw it was still selected in the natural.
So I think InTact's doing this as a response because he hasn't been able to get enough vision on the map to see what's going on. So he made the second gate as a response to not having map vision and not being able to confirm that it's not a 3-hatch Hydra, because you really do need the second gate's production in order to be able to stave off a 3-hatch Hydra without overcommitting to cannons. So this is a good way to be defensive early on and then be able to push out and be aggressive and get value with those early units. So let's go ahead and see how he's able to do that here. In the meantime, we have, again, Hydra Den and a... Gosh, this is such a funky build.
That wall, I think, is a little hard to wall off on this map for Protoss. Having those extra zealots would certainly help with that. But it looks much more like a more aggressive build to me.
Yeah, well, this is going to be InTact's classic 4-hatch speed zealot, and this time it's going to come a bit more swiftly than we had last game. It looks like Gamjo really doesn't have the gas bank that he did that last game as well, so I'm not really sure what the idea was behind producing all this tech. We haven't seen the Scourge yet, have we?
He's got some that are about to come out at the natural.
Okay.
But he never even sent an Overlord over to InTact's base, I don't see.
Yeah, so hopefully he
He's
uses
actually
these
sending it
Scourge
to the
to
top
scout.
right. Maybe he thought it was a multiplayer map, I'm not sure.
I don't know. Maybe he just doesn't know how to scout correctly. Like, because we're still at that phase. Like, a lot of tier 2 players can get by in mechanics and stuff like that. You know, like they may not have all the, like, the little nuanced things, like scouting and stuff like that, down pat exactly. So I could definitely see it just being a mistake.
That and this not being a ladder map can also attribute to that.
Yeah.
People aren't exactly used to it yet.
Either way, though, so InTact not deciding to go for the immediate attack with the large number of zealots. He's going to then instead just go for his massive Archon zealot ball here. And I think this might work out. Let's take a look. Yeah, we don't have Lurker on the way yet. But we do have a very sizable defense up here at or down here at the third base. I don't know. It's too early to call it, but if he goes for the natural, I think Gamjo is just straight up dead.
Yeah, I mean, it really looks like he's going for that Turtle Zerg type play here. With some good SimCity going, Sunkens everywhere. But he's really going to need those Lurkers to come online by the time these Zealots get anywhere.
Oh, Zealots, please go to the natural.
And it looks like that is where they're heading.
Alright, so I think the InTact could have probably moved out with his Zealot Ball a little bit sooner than this. Now Gamjo is seriously turtling up on these couple of bases here. One thing that I don't like about what Gamjo is doing right now is he doesn't really have a great drone count. I would have really appreciated a much larger drone count from him earlier in this game to fuel either a 5-hatch Hydra or like a 6-hatch Hydra push coming up here later in the game, but instead he's kind of running low here. And he's got such a massive gas bank too. It's like going to waste here.
Yeah, he made a whole bunch of Hydras and didn't do anything with them. Did he ever get Lurker Aspect? I'm not sure if I saw that.
No, he just started it like literally right now, as you mentioned that. And yeah, I don't like this position at all. The only thing that's gonna potentially save him from this a loss here is that InTact may just want to go on the aggressive, or on the aggressive side of the game here. And I feel like if he does that and doesn't end up taking his third in a good timing, Gamjo might be able to catch up economically. But even now, he's not really droning very hard. Like if you look at his third base, he's got like 6 drones or 7 drones here.
Yeah, he just had 3 more pop out, so he is droning. Albeit it might be too little too late, we'll see.
It's so late though, yeah. It's so Protoss usually has a mid-game push, and then at around 10 minutes and 30 seconds, they have a very powerful push. I don't know, just right now, it just doesn't look like Gamjo's at that point in the game where he should be. I mean, he should really just have more money right now, don't you think? Where's he gonna take his third, or his fourth? I don't really know what the game plan is going forward here. Maybe he just gets a bunch of lurkers and tries to force an attack on the third.
Well, the fourth would certainly go up on that high ground area, but InTact is realizing that he's definitely doing some Turtle Zerg play and just expanding, which I think is probably the right call.
It's so funny though. The thing about Turtle Zerg is the whole idea is to not produce units and get away with a small amount of units and get away with a ton of droning and then explode into the late game with a crap ton of just super powerful units with great macro behind them. But instead, like, Gamjo is taking this weird middle of the way path where he didn't really drone super hard, but he still defended super hard. And then he also made units, but these units didn't really go out and do anything or accomplish anything. It's kind of like his game plan got kind of mixed up.
Yeah, I think he just got a little scared from the last game with that Zealot leg push. Probably made him make a few more units than he really needed.
That is a good point. I mean, he did start making a ton of units and throwing down all kinds of Sunkens as soon as he saw the number of Zealots that got onto the map here. So, I don't know. Kind of interesting. The one thing I think is kind of funny
but he is moving Hydras out, and
dude,
is not a
if he
good
gets
time.
these High Templars, this could be
my
insane,
goodness.
though.
He doesn't get them.
Oh my god!
Oh my god, big storms!
Wow!
Oh my goodness!
Oh, this is so gross,
so
dude.
So many Hydras.
Well,
10 kills on the one High Templar.
Dude, and just like that, the whole army basically just disappears.
In decisive fashion. I mean, did he even kill a Zealot? I'm not even sure.
I mean, he must have killed some stuff, but like, look at this ball. It's like basically
I mean, it couldn't have been much. Look at the supply. He's up 70 after that fight. It was
so
huge in Protoss's favor.
This is like game over already, in my opinion.
Yeah,
if I were a
make
Zerg,
all of these Hydras into lurkers at the third.
If I was a Zerg, I'd just
not gonna hold.
The one... InTact knows he's like winning right now. He wins that fight, immediately throws down his 4th. I mean...
Yeah, he's even going to be a base ahead here, which is not going to be good if you're Zerg.
Yeah.
Oh, he's even going to storm these lurker eggs.
Oh yeah, this is so worth it.
No. Ah, even kills the extra ones on the side.
Yeah, I didn't know if that was going to work or not. Well, another attempt at a lurker block. I think you can actually get past this. Yeah.
Yeah, Protoss units are just too powerful. I mean, those
This
can't
is so
hold up.
funny though. Look at this.
The one with 4 health.
This is the cutest defense I've seen at this level of play. That was pretty adorable. That was like a newborn puppy right there. Couple of lurker eggs defends that. Gamjo looks like he could be a really great player if he had a coach to just be like, stop doing dumb shit, work on your basics, and then reincorporate the stylistic stuff that you do. Because a lot of players just don't have that like level of flair. They don't like make use of those type of tactics, but they just get by with just making bajillions of units. And I feel like if Gamjo has a coach that really hammers down the importance of macro, oh my god. Look at how many cannons InTact is putting up here!
Yeah, this little Ling run by, but he's not gonna fight the cannons, he's just gonna go straight for the Nexus.
That's so funny.
Oh, and he's not even gonna get it. Oh, that's unfortunate.
Well, I mean, these are just... I mean... yeah, I don't know.
That was one thing he really needed to try and claw back into this game, but unfortunately...
But even sniping that 4th wouldn't be that great, because he still can't take a 4th himself. He's never going to be able to get on this map. Look, he's got lurkers, and like one control group of Hydralisks. He's starting to pump Hydras now, but like, what do you even do here?
I mean, he could have thrown down that 4th on the high ground there at the 9 o'clock, but the fact that he hasn't already means it's probably not going to survive if he tries to throw it down now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. One thing that can get him in this game is Defiler play. Everyone knows Defilers are Gosu as fuck, but InTact taking the initiative. Badaby dropping some Storms and some Zealots into some drones.
And we are loading up some High Templars and heading to the main. This could be brutal.
Yeah,
but he does have a couple of Scourge waiting.
Oh no. Yeah, but Scourge are stupid. There's no way that this is gonna die. Yeah, see, look at this. No big deal.
Yeah, doesn't even notice it. Oh, the Hydras come in just too late.
Well...
And
okay,
moves in the
so
wrong
this
direction.
is great.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
So look at this. InTact is going to drop and attack at the same time. So he's going to drop into the main, and the whole main army is at the bottom, just waiting for Gamjo to be distracted. Oh my god. Entire main mineral line? Gonzies. Here comes the natural mineral line.
Yeah, but there's not even that many drones. I mean, there's only 6 on this mineral line.
There never has been, though. Look at that.
Yeah, that is...
Boom.
Yeah, all of them.
All mining. Goodbye. InTact even getting greedy and going for the 3rd here. There are some Scourge down here, but like, the Scourge haven't even been moved to respond to the shuttle harass. Alright,
yeah,
here we go.
And this
Dude, the Hydra's not even positioned. What is happening? Oh my
that's
gosh.
gonna end the game.
There goes all the drones.
Mining drones have
In the
been
meantime,
destroyed.
main army
and
is
his
just
army
walking
is getting
past each
surrounded.
other.
Oh, that's
Gamjo
this is not where you want to be.
Pulled apart right now. And this is, I can say with some pretty extreme confidence that InTact is a much more solid player on a mechanical and like fundamentals level than Gamjo. I think no one would argue with me on that point. And this is where that type of stuff really shines through. Gamjo, I think, got his win on some kind of cutesy play, but I honestly think that if InTact and Gamjo had like a best of 20, Gamjo would maybe win 2 games.
I think I'd have to agree with you on that one. It does get that 6 o'clock position, but unfortunately, it's just kind of too little too late.
Yeah.
InTact now up over 100 supply.
Yeah, I mean, like, look, we've got 3 drones and gas, 3 drones and gas, 2 on minerals, 2 on minerals, 3 drones and gas. We got some drones chilling. Yeah. But
and he is just gonna be out of money here.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think Gamjo again. I think he could be a very powerful contender if he just takes the time to learn his fundamentals and get those down and really cement himself in some very strong basics of the game. You don't have to be a macro god. You really can be the fancy kind of player that you want to be. You just really need to at least get the macro down with some solidity, right? Like I feel like I'm a more stylistic player. I'm not a macro god or anything like that, and I do make a lot of use out of things like hold position lurkers and stuff like that. But you know, you really at some point you have to nail down. You know, I need to have X amount of units at X time in order to not die, type of stuff.
And you also need money. Taking a page out of Day 9's book, this game is about having more money than your opponent. If you have more stuff, then you can win.
Alrighty. Well, InTact just kind of dirtling around now with a just ridiculous, like, disgustingly sized gateway army. Meanwhile, we just have a couple of contingents of Zerg units kind of running around on the map. I appreciate that, you know, gamjo likes to stay really busy on the map, but honestly, with the APM that he's got, we're at 20 minutes, so like a slightly longer than average if you were a pro game, but I would say this is very average for this level of play. He's about 100 APM right now, and I think at that point, just trying to stay active all over the map actively hurts you, because you don't have the APM to macro behind it, right?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I've definitely seen some people with 100 APM get by fairly well, but
yeah, but what did they focus on?
Not working out for them here.
Did they focus on? Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. You can get by with very low APM if you're macroing, but if you're trying to control your individual units, do fancy things with them, that is not enough APM to be able to be a solid player.
Now it looks like the killing blow is finally coming in here from InTact, and the GGs are going to be had fairly soon, I imagine.
Yeah, Angry. Please link that up in the chat, man. That is it's going to be gotta be a super sick video. But yeah,
wow.
it's just basics.
There was actually a famous, there's the GGs finally. There was a famous player last season in the CPL. Name was Sunfried. He was a Protoss player with 50 APM, and he did quite well in many of his games.
Yeah, actually, I do remember that. That is pretty dope. It's also one of the reasons why I think CPL is such an awesome event. But, yeah, man.
It really is. It's a great community, a great group, whatever you want to call it. It's fantastic. It's gotten me into StarCraft. I was never a 1v1 player, and I've come a long way in the few months that I've been here. It's been very exciting and a whole lot of fun.